Good morning, everybody. Today it is June 5th in the year 2023. I am your host, Agrode. I'm the CEO and founder of Splinterlands, and happy to invite you to another town hall. We are finishing up our first sprint of the third age. I don't know if you've seen yet, but we're calling the third age the Age of the Phoenix, and really excited to be here. We have a special guest today, Charlie from Chibi Dinos. We had some technical issues the last time. We'll see what kind of technical issues we run into this time. Hopefully none. And then we have an entire team. So why don't we bring the team on? They can go give us a quick sort of table of contents of what we're covering. I see Nate, Weirdbeard, and Investigator. So if you guys want to go in that order, that'd be fantastic.
Sure. This is Nate, VP of Creative, and I am here to talk about creative things like UX, UI, art, animation, lore, narrative, stuff like that.
Awesome. Weirdbeard.
Hello, I am Weirdbeard. I am part of the enhancements team. I am the guy that's making sure that land and the swap for CP and SPS staking is implemented, as well as the latest in the bot proposal that was passed by the DAO. So we'll have updates on all kinds of different stuff.
Awesome. And Gator, what are you up to today?
Like every week, I'll be talking about the plans for the update tomorrow. And since we didn't have a town hall last week, maybe we could talk a little bit about what we did last week, since it was a quiet update. But yeah, talk about the updates.
All right, that sounds good. Why don't we kick it off? We'll start with Charlie. Charlie is from Chibi Dinos. So I guess as per usual, this is a super high level show, so I'm hoping to stick with at least some like I think a bunch of people have heard of you and what we're doing, but just in case they haven't, why don't you quickly explain what Chibi is?
So in a nutshell, Chibi Dinos started as an NFT project of basketball and dinosaurs. And our goal has always been to create basketball culture within NFTs, within Web3 and stuff like that. That began with us creating an NBA Jam style game called Primal Hoop. And the thesis behind basically our project and our company at this point is to create basketball themed games around our Chibi Dinos and around our dinosaurs. And so we fully believe in connecting our holders with NBA players and basically just bringing as much of basketball as possible to Web3 as it can handle.
And this is one of the next stops is that this is really a collaboration that lives on the Genesis League sports ecosystem. So if folks don't know about that, I imagine that most of the audience does, but about Splinterlands has been around for over 5 years now. In last October, we actually launched a second platform that's dedicated to sports games. Our first partnership with Major League Sports, Major League Soccer through the Players Association. And, we're putting out the game called Goals, and hopefully that goes live this month. But another project that we started working with is Chibi Dinos, and then we did that in large part because as we went through and worked with the technology stack that we had, we realized we can integrate Web 2 or like Unity-based games and bring them into Web 3, and that includes all the sort of like rewards distributions, NFT issuance, governance, literally all of it. And we can do that. And Charlie here had a fine example of that. Here's a playable, Web 2 game that's NBA Jam style. So, people my age would definitely be familiar with that. And we thought, okay, well, let's get this thing kickstarted here and just show people how we can go integrate Unity-based browser games into the platforms that we built. And so we're getting started with Chibi. We had some internal connections with them already, so we thought that would be an okay start. So that's sort of where the interest on our side is, and then hopefully the two of us figure out how to put out fun games that players can use and have some reward mechanisms and all of that. But I think the expectation here is that all of these games are made in the Unity engine, which means that it's not just like the auto battlers that Splinterlands provides, but literally any kind of game experience that falls into that basketball category seems like something that can come alive here. So,
Yeah.
what's on your brain, Charlie?
And
What do you want to talk about?
Well, you hit the nail on the head, Aggie, and that's something that we have always wanted to keep, as one of our biggest priorities, and that's making stuff fun, right? We all play games to have fun. Playing Splinterlands and playing all of your games are incredibly fun, and you've built this amazing platform that offers the opportunity to entities like us, like Chibi Dinos, to join your amazing community and to live in Genesis League and bring some of those basketball games and some of those sports games to your community. We're thrilled that it's an arcade style game, right? You own a Chibi Dino, and it's kind of cool because it's already been built out in 3D. So you play with your asset in the game, and it's very fun seeing your 2D asset come to life in 3D mode, to be able to control it, shoot, whether you're good or bad and stuff like that. And, we're also lucky enough to be paired with some NBA players that we're going to hopefully be, bringing to our next IRL event that happens with Splinterlands. PJ Washington, Taj Gibson, Bobby Portis, and Terrence Mann, who are all very eager to learn about Web3 and join the communities and stuff like that. And we hope to also bring a lot of over from, that NBA Top Shot community that we're very ingrained with, and a lot of the basketball fans and stuff that we do. Because like you said, the Genesis League sports ecosystem and the platform with Inventium that you've built allows more people to come in and become a part of your already awesome community. I've actually had a blast hanging out in y'all's Discord in the tavern, I think is what it's called.
Yep.
It's always the wild west in there, but I fully appreciate that and I love it. And it's always a blast engaging with your community. And really, what's on my mind is we love basketball, just plain and simple. We love everything basketball related, and we want to bring as much basketball and NBA players, retired and current basketball influencers. We're doing a lot of fun stuff with Ball is Life here in the future. And so we are fully ingrained in a lot of this kind of also street ball, but also with NBA players and organized basketball at the AAU, high school, and collegiate level now, thanks to the NIL stuff. And we want to bring all of that to Splinterlands, into the Genesis League, sports ecosystem. You have an amazing platform, an amazing community. I can't wait to see what you do in another 5 years, because you're going to continue, like you said, provide the ability to build out more games like we have. Our game is built in Unity. At the most simple level, if you own a Chibi Dino, you show up to the game, you connect your wallet, you can pick your Dino, and you can play NBA Jam inside of an NBA game. It's an arcade style game. I'm not here to talk about anything other than just how awesome your platform is at making it possible for games like ours, communities like ours, to actually eventually receive rewards and benefits to their gaming experiences. And I really do have to say that you're on the forefront of all the technology in this space when it comes to Web3 gaming and rewarding gamers and users for actually having fun while playing. I have so many friends that play video games and get nothing out of it other than that endorphin release. And, y'all's ability to, give that endorphin release and make people happy and smile and have fun playing their video games while at the same time also receiving a benefit to participating in it. Y'all are second to none. And your community is very vibrant, and they love talking about your game, which is seen by anybody who hangs out in your Discord for 5 minutes. Mostly on my mind, I guess, for my long-winded answer to your question, is we want to bring as much fun stuff to your community as possible, and we want to offer every single basketball opportunity to them and open the world of both the NBA and basketball culture in general.
Well, that's awesome. And my goal is to make that successful, and also find other groups with other interests and bring them all to the same spot, so that we'll have the groups that are here to love basketball, others that are here to love baseball, that are here to love sci-fi games and fantasy games, and all of it, literally across the spectrum, from the most hardcore games that are super strategic and really rich to the most simplistic hyper casual games. We want all of it here. And we want all of those communities here, and we want everybody engaging. And we really think that the technology that we have, the tech stack, can scale, can do it, can handle the rewards, integrate with the existing platforms, integrate with new platforms that come out. We have the team, the tech, the skills, the experience to go make a incredibly vibrant ecosystem. And that's exactly what we're doing right now. Anything else you want to add, Charlie? Anything that is still burning on your brain that you want to get out here?
I just want people to have fun playing games, and I really want to thank the community for being so welcoming for us. You know, I've hopped into your Discord a few times. We've had members of your community hop into ours. So I really just want to thank all of, you know, both communities for interacting with each other. It really is nice to see when things that most people think are cliche actually come true, when, you know, people start interacting with each other and engaging with each other. And I just want to thank everybody at Splinterlands for literally being, you know, the best Web3 gaming company in the world. For allowing us to launch our game that we're very proud of and give it the best platform possible to exist on. Everyone over there, I'm not even going to start mentioning individual names, Aggie, because it'll take me too long. But I think your community deserves to know just how hardworking your team is on a daily, hourly, minute-by-minute basis, and how amazing they are. You truly have built the best team that Web3 gaming has to offer, and we're just happy to be a part of it. And we plan on bringing more arcade and immersive experiences to your community to be a part of.
Yeah, I get weepy at times when I think about the folks that work here. I mean, I feel truly blessed and honored to have such an incredibly gifted crew. I'm humbled to have had a part in assembling that, and feeling like you know, we really do have a passionate, competent, capable team that has some entrepreneurial pieces, that has a go-getting attitude. You know, I know that the game launched with like some difficulties, and while I was not directly involved, I saw just how much the team sort of rallied behind it to try to make everything work to the best of their ability. So I've you know, even when my attention is somewhere else, and I look around and I see, oh man, my guys are just killing it, and being helpful, being useful, and generally being awesome. So it's nice to hear that from a third party to go help confirm. But you know, I already know it in my heart that we got some amazing humans here, in which I am extremely grateful for daily. So Charlie, thanks for coming on. Thanks for you know, kind of kickstarting the way that we like to integrate with these other projects, not just the things that we build ourselves, but the things that we are going to build with our third-party partners. And excited to see where this thing goes, see what we make, and you know, see what other possibilities are out there. You know, I know that other games are in the future, and I don't know. There's just there's lots of time, lots of space, and lots of opportunity still, and looking forward to see how much of that we can capture.
So are we, and we'll talk soon. I guess I'll do the one line shill, primalhoop.com. Aggie, thank you for having me, and I know we'll talk soon.
Sounds good. Thanks, Charlie.
Later, guys.
Okay, so the next ways we're going, I think it's going to end up being the release notes here with Investigator. And there's Gator right now. Gator, how are things? How are you? We missed you last week. So what I heard some things happen last week. We have some things I think happening tomorrow. So maybe you want to go give us some updates on what are the latest updates and happenings in the Splinterlands code stack.
Morning. So yeah, last week there was a little thing called the Great Burning came out. I know that got advertised a lot, but it was too bad we didn't have a town hall before it. So the 5-year anniversary event with releasing the Guild Point DEC burn.
It does seem like the people found it anyways. I think we've had over 500 million DEC burned in this thing.
A little bit burned. Starting to get there.
It's like 10% of the total supply, as far as I know. So, you know, it's a good start.
Good
How about
start.
that?
Yeah. Let's see. Last week, we also added a new settings option that you can choose to have your assets locked by default. So if you like to lock your cards, you can set it up so that when you open packs, it will just lock them instantly rather than having to go through and click on each one and lock it afterwards. Other than that, we did some market cleanup, which is going to tie into this week. that we are continuing to go through the market and try to clean it up. There's going to be less external facing changes. It's a lot more internal performance. There's a lot of places where we would like make back and forth trips to the database where we just consolidate everything down into one big database call. We are making one change for that Peak Monsters asked for, to give a new option to list the lowest price BCX cards by level for all levels of the card. So that'll be a new option on the API that people can pull information from. The main item of note for tomorrow is that the land survey boosts are going to expire. So if you haven't surveyed your land, do it now. So if you want to get building in a box or unstable totem or time crystals, before the update tomorrow is going to be your last chance for the foreseeable future. We might add them back later, but if we do, they're probably going to cost more. So you should probably get them in now.
Absolutely. Yeah. You guys know what those do, right? Like most of land has been surveyed already. But if you want the building in a box, which gets you your first free upgrade, that's a thing. We also have the two other starter kits, one that has like the grain that's part of it, the totems that's part of it. And I feel like I'm forgetting something. But all the land starter kits that kind of like help you get off to an early advantage in the Secrets of Praetoria land expansion. That's what we're talking about. Those will stop being for sale tomorrow. So if you still have unsurveyed land and you're planning to survey it, you are going to miss out on those early benefits if you decide to wait until after tomorrow to survey.
So those are the main things going out tomorrow. There's a couple bug fixes. We found that there are some rounding errors in price BCX display. The underlying data is right and the sorting's right, but the actual number showing up when it was like percentage or decimal numbers being divided, it would round weird. And fixed a couple of things with Wax Bridge where it was not displaying the wallet correctly in a warning message about sending things over to Wax. And some Wax packs on Wax weren't displaying properly in game. That's pretty much it. That's for what's going out tomorrow. One item that was going to go out, but we're pushing it back a week, is the collection page on tech modernization. So that's very close to being done. There were a couple bugs with it, so we kicked it back so we could fix those. We will probably throw that up on Mavs sometime this week, so people can check it out ahead of time and maybe give us some feedback before we put it in production. And
I want to add a comment. People ask me every so often, hey, what are you guys doing for mobile? When mobile? Why don't you do anything on mobile? When are you going to update mobile? I just want you to know, every time that Investigator or anybody else is out here talking about tech modernization, a big piece of that is the mobile piece. When we get this thing built into the modern framework, then the expectation is we can just live with one code base and we don't have to like make separate updates for the mobile app. Because it's already built the first time that we build it. So when Gator here is talking about, hey, we're doing tech modernization, here's another one of these pieces that we've finished and updated. To me, that's really saying, hey, we're one step closer to a modern and fully functional mobile app. And by fully functional, I mean whatever we can get away with in the Google and Apple stores.
And that's pretty much what I've got for stuff that's coming up in the short term. I know we've got people working on Land 1.5 and the guild points. Being able to spend guild points should be coming up in the next couple weeks as well.
Sweet. All right. Well, Gator, thanks so much. I appreciate you coming on. sounds like we're making these steady movements. I know that there's some big things coming up, so excited to go talk to Weirdbeard in a minute. But before we do that, we're going to go talk to the one, the only Mr. Rondon, and get a little update on Splinterlands TV and how that's going. So thanks, Gator. Appreciate you being here, and looking forward to talking to you next week. All right. The one, the only, the clown himself, Mr. Rondon. How are you doing?
Doing well, Ag. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, it's a pleasure. It's always a pleasure, Ron. Ron, I have an absolute ton of these shout outs I got to do today.
I think there's 43 of them this week.
I mean, it's just amazing because do you know how much Splinterlands TV you have to watch to get a shout out?
It varies. So subscribers who give our streamers a little bit of their money to subscribe to the channel, they actually gain channel points quicker than if you're not subscribed. I know. So I haven't given Twitch my credit card, so I'm not a subscriber. But it takes me about, like, as much as I watch Splinterlands TV, and it's a lot, it takes me about 4 or 5 days to get 50,000 channel points. So it's about probably a week for like some hardcore watchers, and then maybe a little less for people who are subscribed.
I mean, because we have like 43 names that are here, and it's just a lot of people that are here and watching and engaging and building this community. And so when I get this stuff like this and I see one, I'm like, oh crap, I'm about to mispronounce a lot of names here. But my second thought is, wow, there's really a whole lot of people that are watching an awful lot of Splinterlands TV. So I'm going to do these shout outs, but I just want to thank this community and you in particular, Ron, for helping to make this thing as big as it has been. I think it's great to have this much engagement with our community. So Great Cyan Man, Shiloh, Mistfang, Valkyrie, Markio Spy, Solving Chaos, Bitcoin Flood, and I don't know that I've seen Bitcoin Flood on there, but he's been around forever. Brazen Blake, Sliffer, we got Bronco NR5, Vruz did nothing wrong. I don't know that Vruz has ever been accused of any wrongdoing, but Vruz
I think
did
they're
nothing
just getting
wrong
ahead of
either.
it. Just
fair
getting ahead
enough.
of it.
Fair enough. Yeah. Gigi Shoyo, Jagged 71, Cray, Holazor. Good to see Holazor in there. That's another one of the original OGs of Splinterlands. You got a frozen Turon, Wen Smith, Hezayo, Big Barger, Bordell Music, Oroloki, Hender, Walk the Grid, Mobetare, Walk the Grid again, Crazy Jest, Mr. Sir Dr. Dude Bro, Shicky Phantom, Alvini, we got Kira, Kanino Kalang, Creature, Skiri, Super Cow, Pero, Plan RG, Mr. Asian Heart, Kira again, Volazena, Larkin 36, Solving Chaos again, and Jobby Lever. Yeah, I mean, it's a crazy list of names. It's hard to pronounce. Thank you to the folks that are watching. Thanks for redeeming your channel points for a shout out on air. And I don't know, just crazy to see that many people that are watching that much Splinterlands TV. I mean, we're doing like years of watching by like people hours in a month now. So pretty spectacular to see that level of engagement.
Yeah, I don't have all the metrics in front of me right now, but I was looking through them the other day. We're getting close to 100 people watching average, which is for a 24-hour broadcast network. That's a lot to ask from people. If we were live for 3 hours a week, then everybody would pile in, and we'd probably get like 400 or 500 people watching, maybe depending on what we're doing. But to ask everybody to watch 24/7, 7 days, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day is a lot. And averaging 100 people over that is actually pretty awesome.
Incredible. Yeah. Yeah,
I gotta say,
and we're doing that in like the depths of the bear. You know, it's not like SPS is $10 and it's the land of milk and honey. I mean, we're doing that at like the honestly one of the worst price moments of the game's history. So kudos doing that in a giant freaking altcoin bear market. That is not easy.
well, I got to say, big shout out to the Splinterlands company for providing such awesome cards to give away and so much support. Like, honestly, we would not be a tenth of what we are right now without Splinterlands support. The infrastructure, the just everything around it that makes this work has been incredible. The streamers are just the lifeblood of this, making it fantastic to watch. And we really couldn't be there without them.
Okay, so
So speaking of the
maybe
streamers,
do we have 2 clips of the week or just one? What do we have today?
we have 2 clips of the week. And so the first one is from last month, and Buns, Backs, and Caps. He's been chasing, the great whale, the Moby Dick story, and
Yeah.
chasing the white whale.
Yeah.
Well, Buns, Bags, and Caps has his own white whale he's been chasing, and he finally got it, and that's what this clip is about.
See it.
on! Let's go! Dude! No freaking way, dude! Let's go! Yo! Oh my freaking god, dude! Yeah!
So yeah, he got himself, he pulled from a pack a gold foil lily. That's
And that joy, like that's a joy that I remember when I was a kid, right? Like I was opening up Magic the Gathering packs and I'd be looking for I played a white creature deck and I'd be looking for like a very certain angel or something, and I'd get it and I'd be out of my mind happy. That joy is what I could see with him. So I'm glad that we continue to bring that to the next generation of TCG players.
yeah. No, and so that reaction, it actually went on for quite some time. That was just like a little snippet of, I mean, we could have played a 3-minute long video for us, but I know we only got so much time on here. But yeah, no, it was just pure joy, and that's why I decided to include it for this week's clip or for the first clip of the week of this week, I guess. But we've got one more clip of the week, and this one has to do with our new promotion. Have you heard of it? Have you heard about this?
I don't remember, Ron. Maybe you're gonna remind me. Is there something for June?
No. It's not for June.
It's
summer.
It's for the whole summer, isn't it?
It's for the whole
I believe.
summer.
Does it involve summoners?
It does. So yeah, we're doing Summoner Summer. Mostly because I wanted to watch the streamers stumble over that on air.
Yeah.
No, but also because we wanted to give you guys a bunch of cool summoners. And we've got some great cards in there. We've got just all the summoners that you could possibly want, including a gold foil kitty. Now, this next clip isn't a gold foil kitty. We haven't given it away yet. It's still up for grabs. You got a painful look on your face, like he's really giving away that gold foil kitty.
I had a moment to go catch up on chat just as just looking at the gifts, just looking at the folks, all the gifts, all the people.
Okay.
All right, show me the clip of the week for this week.
All right. So yeah, this week it was our opening day of Summoner Summer, and what do you know? Really great prize.
Come on!
Oh, wrong clip.
Wrong one.
Bonus clip. Is that not the right one?
Uh-oh.
There we go.
What is just going on? Lava, bro. What is up? What's going on? My stream is on fire. That's fire, man. That's fire. We are the 1st of June, and I'm giving away just legendary cards. Just only legendaries. Swear to Glenn, only legendary stream.
The llama. The
So-
llama.
Guys, even if you don't win the grand prize, which is a gold foil kitty, let me say it again, it's a gold foil freaking kitty. Well, there are still plenty of amazing cards out there. Plenty of summoners to go around. Honestly, I don't know why you wouldn't tune in. Because you have fun, you watch, you win cards, you can clip stuff, win SPS. I mean, it's just all around good time.
Totally agree. That's why I like hosting this, having this. I try to stop by and check in with the folks. But Ron, thanks for keeping the Splinterlands TV lights on. Thanks for sharing the updates, and hopefully people are enjoying Summoner Summer as there's all kinds of sweet prizes being given away.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thanks, Ed.
So if I'm not mistaken, we get to go talk to Weirdbeard next. Weirdbeard,
What's up?
I think we're at a spot. Have we already shared the updated roadmap? Does that exist yet? Is that out there?
I don't think it exists out there yet.
Okay, we
Right.
got to get that thing out there.
I agree.
Can we show it? Can we put that out? Can we do the thing?
I would let Liam do it. He would love to post it later today. I can talk about what's on it. But I don't want to jump the gun.
Okay.
We have a marketing department for a
Okay.
reason, man.
Fine. Yeah, I like to break things like that. And then my team yells at me, why did you do that? I was on air. What did you want from me?
Yeah.
Okay. So all right. What are the main things that you want to talk about? And then let's try to get at least some of the roadmap stuff, because it's going to be 2 weeks before the folks hear about it.
Yeah. So I mean, first we just got out our large burning event. It was talked about earlier. Let's look at an up-to-date number real quick so that we have an honest to goodness gauge. What do you think it is off the top of your head right now?
Well, I had looked earlier. I think it's 484, something like that, DEC and Deck B.
So it is 400, and you're right, 484,000 or 484
84
million.
million.
Which is
A lot.
pretty great. It's going to be running through for another 24 days. So if you are interested, earlier you burn, the more of the point maximizer that you're able to get there. It's also a great way to be able to earn some of the guild power, which is going towards being able to level up your guilds in the future. So I'd encourage people to do that. We also closed out our Zerial sale, and we also are making sure that we are closing out our land booster pack sales tomorrow, June 6th, once we go into maintenance. So like Investigator said, if you are interested in purchasing those, if you haven't surveyed your land yet, you need to go do it for maintenance tomorrow at 11 a.m. EST. Thank you very much. So talking about what's on our roadmap for this age, it's pretty simple. And it's simple not because they're easy projects, but because it's like less is more. Land 1.5 is a big focus here. And land 1.5 essentially encompasses a couple of things: asset staking, plot clearing, resource production, market and bridging, and land surfing. I'm not going to explain land
surfing.
Oh yeah.
Land surfing.
Oh,
I've
yeah.
never even heard this term.
Oh yeah.
And you're not even gonna go give a little alpha on what it is. You're just gonna let people know. How do you spell surfing, by the way? Is it like on a skateboard?
Yes. It's not SERF. It's not a surf, but surfing. Are all things that are going to be part of land 1.5. Essentially what this means is that you are finally going to be able to put cards on your land after you clear those plots. You have specific cards that are then going to generate certain resources that you're going to need grain and time crystals and all the stuff to do, right? And then you're also going to start earning some of those resources from whatever land you surveyed. So finally, like, land becomes active, and it's going to start sucking up a whole bunch of cards that people are placing on it. Other things. Oh, go ahead.
Did you say when that was going to happen?
No,
did
I
you,
didn't.
Did you tell us that?
No, I
Can you
didn't.
give me like a
No.
very specific date and time?
Nope, can't do it.
No. Okay.
Again, we pay our wonderful marketing team the money that they earn because
Brutal. You're
they
brutal.
get to do that stuff.
Do you think it's in this age? Like,
Yeah.
are we going to get it done in
Yes.
the like current age that we're in, or do you think we're pushing this back to like another, I don't know, till late summer or early fall? Where do you think it'll land?
In this age extends until August. I believe that's plenty of a window for us to be able to deliver on stuff.
Okay.
Also included in there, we have ranked battle changes, meaning replacing CP requirements with SPS staking, and a general tournament entry requirements overhaul with the removal of CP as a mechanic into tournaments. Then we're gonna have to redo a whole bunch of work into tournaments and how people are able to do stuff. I have Investigator looking at me and smiling off camera, and it's making me very anxious because I feel like I said something I shouldn't have, but I'm just reading the roadmap. So go ahead.
So what are we talking about? When are we talking about it? Like, give me, is this new stuff? Is it something that we already talked about? Already showed? Like what? Just give me a little sense of what this thing is. I know that we've talked about land to death, but
Yeah.
the SPS staking stuff is like a little bit newer. So I think that there might be some people that are still kind of caught off guard or don't fully understand this. Do you want to walk us through it just a little?
Yeah, so I mean, again, we're essentially when CP or collection power was introduced as a mechanic in the game, it was supposed to be able to gauge how strong of a card collection you had, right? It was supposed to say, like, hey, I have a whole bunch of cards. I should be able to battle at certain levels because look, I have a deck that's this big, and I'm not just like, trying to go to gold and diamond with starter cards. But then, in practice, CP as a mechanic just wasn't a great gauge, right? Like when I first joined the company, you especially saw it in tournaments to where you could just rent the highest CP card that you could find with no use or intention of using it inside of that tournament. It just got you like over the gate to be able to go and take care of it, right? So now what we're doing is we're actually trying to use SPS staking as a replacement for that CP. And
Well,
one of the
we also did a little thing where we where if you're using under level cards, we reduce your rewards,
Mhm.
right? So like this is I didn't mean to, I did interrupt, and I'm sorry, but that's the SPS is sort of like in addition to what we've already done, where we said, all right, well, maybe you don't need a very specific amount of CP, but
Correct.
if you're using under level cards, you're going to get reduced rewards.
Yeah.
And so now there's some SPS requirement that's coming into existence too. So why don't you explain what that is real quick?
Yeah, I mean the easiest way to say it is that it's not a negative number. It's not like if you don't stake this amount that you are actually losing rewards by any means necessary. What it just means is that the more to translate it super easily, the more SPS that you have staked, the more that you earn as rewards at different league levels, right? And in order to keep earning the rewards as they exist today, then we have an amount that you're supposed to stake to stay exactly where you're at. So it's not a reduction in rewards. It's just making it so that it translates 1-to-1 of like, hey, the more you stake, the more you earn. It's just a really easy way to navigate that entire conversation.
So we're adding that in. So is this like brand new? Because I seem to recall this thing being in the white paper.
Oh yeah, it's been in there forever. It's just something that we haven't done yet, and now it's here.
Yeah, because some people were like shocked. How dare you, sir? How dare you make us stake SPS that you've said you do for 2 years? I mean, if anything, it would be, how come you didn't get this done earlier rather than, why are you doing it now? I mean, it's always been the plan. We never took it out. This is just like when we were finally able to this was the next thing on the priority list so that we could actually get it done.
Yeah, and again, one of the other things too that I want to stress is that when it was first talked about, a lot of people again thought that it meant, hey, you have to stake this, otherwise you don't earn anything. You can't earn anything without staking, and that's not correct. That's not it's not what this is, and it's not saying that new players have to come in and stake $500,000 in SPS in order to be able to earn rewards. It is a scaling slide that goes up to where if you want to maximize your rewards at the highest levels, then you need to stake at least this amount. And if you stake more, you can even earn, higher than what you are currently earning in these different leagues, right? So that's the biggest, easiest way to put a thumb pin in this, is that I think a lot of people originally took it as, oh my God, they're taking away all rewards unless you stake all this SPS. And that's not what it is. It's saying if you want to increase or stay at the rewards where you're at, you need to stake certain amounts based on what league you're competing in.
Now, is this a big change? Is this as big as like like the whole land thing, or is this a little smaller? Like where does this fit in kind of the difficulty level to bring into existence?
It's definitely not as big as land. Like that's the easy thing. The one complication is making Nate not pull out his hair, right? Because you need to be able to show this and communicate it easily to players without it being like a formula. Excuse the term, but it can't be nerd stuff. You gotta like make it easy for people to look and be like, do this and you get this. This is how this works. And I think that's where sometimes we run into complications when we're getting like Nate on board, is because Nate wants to translate for the everyman. And then we have some people in the company that are like very, very smart, but it's hard. They're so technical that it's hard to distill it down into like everyman language. So then you kind of like find some way to meet in the middle. But the thing is like we already have a system for how we display with CP right now. So it's tweaking that and adding some extra stuff, as opposed to like land, where it's literally you're building a house. You have to build the foundation, pour the concrete, put the studs up, do all that kind of stuff. So like land is absolutely a more involved project. And that's why we're going to be delivering the SPS staking result first before land is actually deployed.
Yeah. That's going to come first. Okay. So do you want to be bold? Do you think you'll get that done in June? Do you think that's done in July? You'll never say it.
No.
So yeah, Weirdbeard.
I had people in tavern pooping all over me all weekend because I popped my head in the Discord and they'll be like, when's this thing? And I'll be like, hey, we'll let you know when the time's ready. And they're like, oh, when the time's ready. And it's like, yeah, dude, I'm not going to just leak it to you, random user 1157. Sorry.
You won't even leak it to the CEO.
No.
Yeah, I love it. Keep us all in suspense. It's fine.
So some of the other stuff as well, alongside the CP swap and the land 1.5, we do have Soul Keep as a game release coming up very, very soon. We'll have blocking the bots from Modern. We're making plenty of progress internally on that. And when we're ready to announce dates for when that goes in, we'll say it. And then we also are still doing background work on that mini set with our brand IP partner. And a lot of this stuff is like our big overview focuses, but we have plenty of other things that we're doing as well that are bugs and upgrades, little upticks that we can do here and there, because a lot of it is just land is such a, with the company that shares a creative department, you can only pull so many threads before it's like you're literally taking dinner off of somebody else's table. So we're working on the things that are in our control and what we're able to really move forward and deliver on. So yeah.
What about the whole bot thing? Is that going to turn into a nightmare? Is that giant? Is that like flip a switch and use a thing and you're good? Or like what have you kind of scoped it enough to have a sense of how big that problem is going to be to solve?
Yeah, here's the thing that you have to understand, that we have to set internally what our status of good enough on something like this is, right? When it passed, Matt had talked about implementing Cloudflare protection, right? Cloudflare protection for botting is mainly used against large botnet stuff, right? Like huge swarms of bot farms that come in. And not only is that like not just flip a switch type stuff, but the other part of it as well is that, okay, we can't just do that and then throw up our hands and go, oh, good enough, there you go. Because then, if it doesn't do a great job, we're sort of left in the middle of, we didn't go far enough with it, but we still put in a measure, and like, so you have to determine all these kind of auxiliary issues that you're dealing with, like not only updating TOS, but making sure that we have pop-ups for new players that say, hey, I agree to these TOS. I know what's going to happen if we do this. We have to interface with Cloudflare and make sure they're good and ready and able to report to us. And we educate our support staff on if somebody does get banned and they go, whoa, I'm not a bot. What do I do? We have to be able to have contacts with Cloudflare and be able to pass them over and have them figure it out. Then we also have to figure out other things such as like, okay, we put this into modern. How is that going to affect? How do we track it? How do we know if it's even effective? Like, we don't want to just turn it on and go, yep, all right, we did our job, whatever. Like, you have to understand what you're looking at, right? So that means our data team has to be collecting data beforehand and specific data. And then, hey, here's the date that it's going to go live. And we need to track these metrics after it goes out to make sure that it's actually working. Like, a lot of these things people think is just an implementation. Like, can you just turn it on? Sure. But then you don't even know if it's working or if it's effective or why we did it in the first place. So like, there has to be a method to the madness. And sometimes that method takes a little bit more planning than just going out and doing it. So that's the thing that always feels a little contrived about these conversations, is that people always go, well, it should be 10 minutes of work. And it's like, okay, even if it's 10 minutes, there's still all the other stuff that we have to talk about beforehand. And I'm an idiot, so I can't even do the 10 minutes of work. I have to go ask another guy to do the 10 minutes of work for me. So, lots of things happening all at once. And more than anything else, I will say, from a lot of the player feedback sessions that I've done, one of the biggest pieces of feedback that the community has given is that they wish that the company would take its time and do things the right way. And that's what I like to try to be, is somebody that's not just going to lurch from thing to thing to thing to thing and be like, look, we did 50 things, but they're all kind of okay. Like, I'd rather do 5 things and knock it out of the park for the community. And they know that whenever we deliver on stuff, that it's like good and it's solid and we thought it through and we took our time to kind of button every last thing up. So that's what I hope to be able to do, especially when we talk about bots, because you already know we're going to put it in and then somebody's going to go, well, I think I versed a bot one time in this match and his name was this, and now I'm upset and you guys didn't block all bots. You suck. And it's like, okay, like, what's our factor? Is it like 3%? Is it 10%? Is it 50% reduction? Like, what's the number that we consider effective? And then once we do it, what's the next step? Because you can't just do this and then be like, all right, cool, we did the thing. We're never going to talk about it again. Like, it becomes a forever war that we're just going to have to wage on, constantly making updates.
It is definitely a forever war. This is a never-ending battle.
Forever.
This is like the war on terror, right? Like, oh no, terror still exists.
Yes,
how do you win the war on terror?
Because again, like, we've had publicly these conversations about bots, and it's always distilled down into stop bots. And it's like, okay, but then you don't have just the bot farms. You have hand pickers. You have, what's the level that we internally have to decide after conversations with community leaders and team members and players and bot makers and all this? What do we consider bad? Do we consider a hand picker bad? Do we consider somebody with a spreadsheet bad? Do we consider, you know what I mean? Like, so it's like, yes, it's always the new
Are you personally
evolution.
calling out Neil McSpadden? Is that what you're doing right now?
Neil is a bot for using spreadsheets, and I will not back down.
Yeah, fair enough. Anybody who beats me is a bot. That's what I've learned. That's the only way that I can lose is to bots. Bots and Yasik.
But yeah, so I mean, it's like it's I don't want to say, oh, it's more complicated than that, because people are very annoyed with like us always saying soon, soon, soon. But I would much rather say soon, soon, soon than, hey, we'll have it next week. And then next week comes and we'll be like, I'll pay you $1 for a hamburger Tuesday.
Yeah.
Like, I can't do it anymore. So, when we announce dates and say that these are the things we're doing, we deliver on those dates, and we only say them when they're ready, so that people are confident that when we say we have something ready, we actually have something ready.
All right. So when land and when SBS staking?
When I get to it. So
yeah,
I'll let you know.
Brutal. You guys are never going to get alpha again. Never. It's not going to happen.
No,
I guess we got to get Liam on. Maybe Liam will we can squeeze it out of Liam.
Well, then it's his fault. He gets to say what he does marketing. But the big point is that, like, hopefully when we make these announcements, the hype is directly transferable from the moment of the announcement to when it's happening. The cycle is small so that the hype can be sustained, and then people are excited when our products get here and not like, thank God they announced this 3 years ago and it's finally here. Like, we want to tell you when we know that it's close and you can be actually excited about it.
Yeah. Hopefully the year, or hopefully I'm getting better, and our development team is big enough that the 3-year gap in Aggie talks about it to, hey, we have delivered it, is narrower than that. But no promises. I mean, we're gonna keep doing awesome things, and some of those awesome things are gonna take more time than I expect, but we'll see.
And one point that I do want to make, while we talk about land, the SPS staking swap, Soul Keep, and the blocking bots from Modern, we're already moved. Like, the teams work in this weird kind of fashion to where we have the team that's currently doing the stuff, and then we have a team that's like projecting and planning over them. Right. So we need to be planning for what's coming next so we don't finish the stuff we're doing now and all of a sudden go, whoops, okay, I don't know what to do now. So, we're also looking at what the next stage is going to be already, and what do those plans look like, and what are we building out for that? And I think that's like some of that stuff's going to be very exciting to be able to get on the books and say the words out loud when we're ready to say them. So that's my hype tease that I can give.
Rock on. Okay. Anything else? I think that was a lot, but is there anything else that you want to share?
And survey packages, they end tomorrow at 11 a.m. EST. Don't be mad if you forget, because I said it 3 times now. That's all.
Hold on, I'm typing something. So I just pinged Chatter. Maybe Chatter will let us share the Splinterlands roadmap, and we can get that out there.
Cool.
But it should be there shortly. Okay, so I think that's pretty good. Thanks Weirdbeard for coming on and kind of talking us through it, and giving some highlights of what's in the roadmap, what we're working on, and promising us non-specific dates in doing so. All right, let's go bring in Nate, and let's talk about some eye candy and some of the things that Weirdbeard was talking about that are kind of in production, or sort of like what's coming, how is it getting here? Like the creative team is a big part of getting this made, right? Like it's not all just devs, right? You can't just be like, all right, dev, go make land. There's like tons and tons of creative work that has to go into that. So Mr. Nate, what's burning a hole in your life right now? Just kind of like, what are you guys focused on? What are you trying to get out? And what are the priorities in your life these days?
Gotcha. No, I can. I'm excited. I'm excited about everything that's been happening and everything that's about to happen. I think I saw somewhere in Mav's chat saying we took 20 minutes to say pretty much nothing, but I think it's not necessarily nothing. I think that you might have to read between the lines, since we might not be ready to commit to any one specific thing. But I will say that internally, team-wise, that there are certain changes that are making the difference. And one of those changes is maybe from a design perspective. Lots of times in the past, it was like we drew up a technical document, and then it dropped into Creative's lap to kind of figure out the UI, the UX, what's the user journey, how can we make this feel more game-like, and less like a spreadsheet that's just kind of been skinned to look like a game, that kind of thing. And more and more, as we refine the process through the sprint planning and the ages, and we start making it so like, wait, well, hold on, let's design this out first, and then get technical about it, and then let's get the steps right, and let's be a game studio, let's make this fun. And the closer we get to achieving it, and I could see all the changes happening, I could see us working collaboratively together as a team to accomplish this, to where yes, we can start putting out slightly less MVP-ish looking products and slightly more polished products. I mean, I think that what Matt continues to say, which is that it's the tokenomics of it all that kind of distinguish us and set us apart. That's true. That is absolutely bullseye true. But I think that making attempts to kind of get both. I know Weirdbeard has championed this. I champion it. A lot of people. I know you want the game to be, as beautiful and engaging as fun as possible. The community wants that, and so I think everyone's on the same page of music. It's just now that we're finally figuring out, well, how can we get this to happen? And I think we're about there. I think this year, which is our fifth year in business, is the year where we finally say, hey, you know what? And we've been warned. I think I've been warning people in Mavs chat, like, hey, the day is coming. This whole MVP process, you've had a chance to accumulate. You've had a chance to get as much as you can, because be careful what you ask for. Because once you ask for something polished and we start doing it, then those accumulation days are going to get a little bit harder, because, the excitement, and then we hit a bull run and then things get nuts, right? So this year I see steps being made to accomplish that. That's no small thing. And I wish we had dates, and I wish we could say, yeah, we're doing this and this, and by the end of the year you're going to get that, and it's going to be amazing. It's like, okay, we're not quite ready to talk about everything, but as someone who is behind the curtain, I'm excited. I'm pretty optimistic. I'm very bullish on where things are going. So hopefully that bleeds into, you guys can kind of like feel that from us when we talk. In terms of,
do you have, so you showed me, it was for land, and I don't know if we'll show the land one, but can you give any, like, either show us something about that kind of like UX, how you walk through that experience? I'm kind of thinking about your almost like the flow chart of land, of like, this goes here, this goes there. Is that something you're comfortable sharing, or do you have one that's like previous to land if you don't want to show the land one?
I don't know. I could see if I have anything like that handy.
Because I just, when we're talking about UI and UX, like, those are not things that when I went to school, anybody ever used those words, right? Like, at no point in my high school, college, or graduate school existence did anybody like routinely say UI UX. It's only in this like niche video game kind of world and experience that I've encountered that. So I'm interested in hearing, or interested in seeing some of like, what does it look like to map that out? What is the kind of like first step of this process, and how do you even get there?
Gotcha. Yeah. So, I wasn't ready to share that, but I so happen to actually have one of the software applications open with one of the, like, this looks like a user journey flow. So as we look through 1.5, and I'm looking at it, is there anything here that I shouldn't share? No, it's pretty straightforward UX planning. So here, this is an example for you guys. This is an internal document that was shared with the team, from the design team over to engineering and to the stakeholders, to kind of go over like, okay, what are we doing this sprint? What's happening next sprint for 1.5, and how that's planned out. So this right here is kind of like a user journey through the process of like, what is the player doing? And then part of that process is figuring out, well, how many parent core screens are there to accomplish these things, and how many child screens are there? What's the functions? What's the data being represented? And we kind of plan all that out, and that's one out of many pages in a document that kind of gets figured out from creative to say, hey, we looked at the white paper, we read it through, we think that this is kind of like how things should function. And that's kind of another representation of like, okay, we did the technical and then we did the design, and we're getting closer to like, well, let's do the design, just design more at the beginning, and make it and look at it more holistically, so that we're taking everything into account, not just this and not just that. And I think that's important. I think that if we look at things holistically, the more polished it will feel. And by polished, I mean fun and immersive and engaging. It won't just be, you'll get everything. People who are interested in the story will get all the story stuff. People interested in the art will get all the art stuff. People who want to see animations and sound effects and music, they'll get that stuff too. And the people who want the ROI and get the functionality to be able to run a business online with land will get all the, the benefits of that as well. There's no reason why we can't have our cake and eat it too. I mean, we can. We just have to approach it the right way. And I think that's part of the process that we're sharing with you guys today.
So what would you call this document? It's sort of a flow chart, but it's like, is this a UX flow chart? How do you even describe this thing?
Yeah, exactly. That is basic. It's UX. For those who UX is different than UI. UI is designing how the front end looks, taking into account accessibility. Or is the user might be colorblind? What does that mean? What should we do here? What should we do there? In order to make sure that the interface you're working with is as intuitive and user friendly as possible. But before you approach that step, you do the UX, and that's what you're looking at here. Part of UX involves a user journey like that, but also it involves flow charts and screen mapping and trying to like navigate and get the lay of the land, so that when we hand over the UI to engineering, they can look at it and maybe already have the back end work done, or they can look at it and know how all the pieces get put together properly, so that we don't have to go through extensive prototyping.
So if you have a user journey, what's the next step? Like, what do you do from there?
Typically, user journey means like, okay, you look at a screen like that and you say, okay, this is kind of like how we intend things to flow. Now, what do we got to do to support that flow? So you might look at one of the forks in the road on the user journey and say to yourself, okay, how does that fork happen? Is it a button? And if there's a button and you have to click on it, then what kind of child screen is prompted? And is it a child screen that slides in? Is it a modal, or in other words, a pop-up, or does it take you to another part of the website? These are important things that have to be figured out if you want an intuitive experience, right? That makes any sense at all. Do you have a little X in the corner to close things out? Do you have a done button, or do you have a back button up in the upper left-hand corner? These are things that we discuss on our design meetings. It could be something like topography, or it could be color, or it could be, there's a lot of things, margins and padding and alignment. These things matter when it comes to making sure that the front end makes sense to the user. And so the following follow-up to a user journey is figuring that stuff out and saying, okay, well, this translates to 20 different screens, 3 are parents, 17 are child screens, and out of these child screens, there's this many variations. In case that you put something wrong in the field, it should have a message that says you put something wrong in the field, and this, or tooltips, and who's going to write up those tooltips and explain, to the user in the most user-friendly fashion, like what it all means. And it's really cool because we're getting tech support involved. I know Lilyfire and Royal Eagle and all the rest. They're participating more and more in the process, which is cool to see, because they're right there in the trenches, helping people with their issues and their problems, and they're very sensitive and empathetic to what it is that the players are going through, and they're able to take that feedback and apply it and give it to us so that we can make any little tweaks and changes along the way to not just the UX but ultimately the UI as well.
And I think that they have an ability to think like a, non-gifted user, right? Like if you're like not crypto native, like the design team might not be thinking about the non-native crypto experience or something, but I feel like those guys are always dealing with it, so they can bring some of that to the table. So it just like counting the number of colors that I see here, it's something like 18 different colors or 18 different boxes. How many different screens do you think land will actually be? Like if there's 18 different buckets right now, how many total screens do you think land 1.5 will exist as?
Jeez. I know that it's funny because we talk about LAN 1.5, and LAN 1.5 is supposed to just be this not a band-aid, but just something that we do in the meantime to prepare for this beast that is going to be 2.0. But 1.5 in and of itself is pretty freaking ambitious. I would say that let me see right here. I think I have projected layouts, I think around 20 different screens. And what's funny is people they think, well, that many screens, that seems like a lot of screens for what needs to happen. It's like, well, I don't think, if you go through the website and you start clicking buttons, and you see how that leads to another screen, and that leads to another screen, and then there's all this stuff going on that there's a more there than you would think. So there's a lot to be designed out, a lot to be figured out, and that's okay. But yeah, I think sometimes people underestimate just how ambitious this whole land thing is. It is definitely, in my opinion, it is going to overshadow pretty much anything and everything that we've ever done up until now. It makes our ranked play look like this little speck of nothing, the sheer gargantuan size of what we're doing with land. But that's okay. That's as it should be, because eventually we want land to be that foundation upon which the rest of the ecosystem rests. Because ultimately, if ranked play is happening within these arenas, then those arenas exist within land, right? So we're not building an extension to, we're not building, we're building this little extra form of gameplay over here. No, we're building out this ginormous world, and everything's going to exist within it. So, whether it's raids or story mode, or whether it's, draft mode, or everything else in between that we want to do or have done in the past, it'll probably end up eventually being sucked into this thing called land and exist within the world that we're building.
Sweet. Okay. Weirdbeard let slip that even before Land 1.5 goes live, our intent is to go get SPS staking live as a replacement for collection power. So I guess my thought is something like, I think Weirdbeard addressed it kind of correctly of like, it's pretty technical, and I don't want this to feel like, high school algebra. Like, if you want to go figure out how much SPS you need, please get out your TI-82s, and here's the formula that you plug in. Like, I know that Vugtis actually went and did that. He took the formula that he was given and he plugged it into Excel and printed the damn thing out. It was awesome. But I don't think that should be the experience for everybody. Like, how are you viewing what we need to do for SPS staking, and where's your brain at for that?
I think Weirdbeard did a good job touching upon it earlier. Essentially, what we want to do is let's go backwards a little bit. So when collection power was implemented in the game, it was very much MVP mode. It was like, what is the minimum that we can do to just get it out there? The same held true with modern and wild format. When we introduced modern and wild, we did the absolute barest minimum. Now, we wanted to do more. I wanted to do more. In fact, not only did I want to do more, I think it was about a year ago, right? I think I feel like it was about a year ago that we went ahead and implemented some of these changes to rank play. And I could be wrong, or was it longer than that? I got to go look at a calendar and refresh my memory. But I know a year ago we were working on certain assets, and we were trying to do as much as we could to squeeze in so that when we released this to the world, that it felt as cool as possible. And we just ran out of time, and we were such in a rigorous, like, fast schedule that there was no time to just finish up what we did and go back and say, okay, this is what we wanted it to be like. We didn't have time, so we squirted out a quick MVP of it. Let's go ahead and go back and let's make it better. We never did. So when they say, hey, let's go ahead and change collection power to this and that, what goes on in my head is, oh, okay. I'm looking around. I'm like, how much time do we have? And within that time, because I don't want to delay anything, we got a very strict schedule, but you know how I work, Agra. If you tell me I have a week, okay, I'm going to do as much as I can in that week. If you say I have 2 weeks, if you say I have a month, whatever time period you give me, I'm going to try as much as I can. I'm not a big believer in like, oh, let's just get out the minimum. I'm always a big believer. Let's go above and beyond. Let's under promise, over deliver. Let's knock people's socks off if we can. And so in the time we have, I don't know, I'm looking at it, I'm like, I can't make any promises or guarantees, but there's stuff sitting on the shelf from like a year ago that we never finished, or there's a lot done that I feel like, maybe we could like just finish that up and squeeze it in. So for example, that would be like, just cool stuff, like even just opening up the loot, right? When you go and you say, "Oh, I achieved a new league," and your rewards are better because you have staked SPS, and you want to celebrate that. So I think I've shared stuff like this a long time ago, and it just never went into the game. But like, to refresh people's memories, here's an example of, like, we could have the loot boxes animated a little bit more dynamically, make it more fun, instead of this like little static image that goes, it just kind of like opens up, like, hey, let's make it cool. Let's make this feel like a game, right? Same thing if you're moving from one league to the next, like when you have staked SPS and you're celebrating your modifier, you're trying to decide, do I really want to go to the next league? What's my modifier? How much SPS do I have staked? I mean, yes, it's all technical. Yes, there's some tokenomics involved. But what happened to the emotional engagement, where it just says, screw the modifier, screw everything else. I'm here because I want to flex how good I am in the game. And, some of that sometimes gets missing, but with a little bit of polish, like here's some badge animations we've done in the past that celebrates going from one bronze tier to the next bronze tier. And imagine that flashing up on the screen and you seeing like, oh, okay, this is cool. Of course I want to keep going. Same thing if, what is that? That's modern. So, oh no, that's wild. I think that's a wild badge. So a modern badge going from diamond to champion. If you saw that flash across the screen with sound effects and music, and suddenly, bam, you did it. And it's like, yeah, heck yeah, I did. I'm freaking awesome. That's cool. I want that for our game. I think the players want to see that for our game. It's just, how does Nate and creative do that without derailing, everything that we're doing, without delaying everything that we have to do in the year? And I think there's a way to have our cake and eat it too. I think there's a way to accomplish some of this stuff. And for those of you watching, just know I'm doing everything in my power, man. I'm doing everything in my power to get you guys the game that not only you could have more fun with, but you can hold your head up high and tell your friends and family, come play this game, and not feel a little weird or ashamed because it's just doesn't meet the same standards as maybe some other games out there, right? Well, let's get there. We can get there. I think we can get there. And I think that this year is the year where we start to make baby steps in that direction. So that by sometime next year, we're rocking and rolling. Like Weirdbeard said, let's, instead of doing a million things, half baked, let's just do a few things and knock them out of the park. I think that's a great strategy.
Anything else that you want to share for today? I mean, I support what you're saying and look forward to making this as cool as we can. Actually, yeah. So anything else that you want to share here, Nate?
Let's see how much time. Oh, we're going into question and answer time here. I'll just to celebrate the 5 here. Let me see if I have anything. You guys have already saw the artwork because it's on the website now. It's live. The burning is happening. But just to celebrate it, what do I got here? And guild power. That's a big deal. All the deck you're burning is going towards guild power. And I'm pretty excited about the work that Cryptomancer is doing, and hopefully the new guild buildings and stuff. So even though you've seen that when you donate and everything, I figure, hey, take that with you and be inspired by it, because the guild power that you're collecting and accumulating, and if you guys don't know it, you could see it in where is it in your non-card inventory. You should be able to see your guild power accumulating. If it's not there already, then I think we should be adding it to the game soon. I don't remember if it's live or not, but track your guild power, be proud of it. And then here's a wallpaper to kind of like, there you go, a wallpaper with a battle mage such as yourself donating to the cause. And it's cool because the narrative team did make a story. If you guys want to know about the story, essentially, you are a battle mage and you're making a contribution to the cause that will eventually become a rebellion. But before it becomes a rebellion, there is the spark to the flame, and you're part of that. Vruz is an instrumental part. He was hired by the Rift Watchers, contracted by the Ebon Hood Thieves Vruz is a renowned and infamous footpad for that Thieves Guild. But basically, Vruz is contracted to go collect all the DEC from all the battle mages who want to contribute to what will eventually become a rebellion. And what's funny is all this DEC that you're contributing is being used to power these explosives by these mad scavo technomancers. And some of you noticed when you donate, you see this cool animation that the art team made. In fact, you know what? Big props to Tyler. I don't know if he's watching or he's seeing this or he's going to watch it, but Tyler, our creative lead coordinator, I was like, whoa, this looks cool. Great job, the animator. It turned out he did it. Tyler did it, not our animator. I'm like, wow, that came out really well. I think you guys would agree that was a cool, extra spicy part of the experience, is having that cool little animation. But ultimately, yeah, the DEC was supposed to be used by these scavo technomancers to hit critical sites of the Chaos Legion Empire that would destabilize them and pave the way for what will eventually become a massive rebellion. So you guys are part of that. I know that maybe a lot of that narrative didn't bleed into the landing page and all that stuff, but just know that we are hard at work trying to make you feel a part of this world, make you feel a part of the story, because you are. And all these little things that you're doing along the way, maybe just to get a better ROI or get some prizes, it means something. And that will come, the fruits of that labor will come to bear as we get closer and closer to rebellion. So yeah, fun stuff. I just wanted to share that little part of the backstory with you.
Awesome. All right. Thank you, Nate. I want to deviate from the plan just a little bit. I actually want to go back to Weirdbeard now, if we can get a second there. Thanks for keeping us entertained. Thanks for making it beautiful, Nate. And it looks pretty fantastic. And excited to see what we get for land, and excited to see how easily we can go read up on all things that are part of the SBS staking. Chatter just dropped the roadmap. So I'm hoping that the one and only Clown can go share the roadmap real quick. And then I kind of want to hop back here with Weirdbeard. And Weirdbeard, maybe you can just kind of like talk us through it. The first thing that I note in the current age of the Phoenix is that there's not like 20 cards like we might normally have.
Yes, thank God.
I see 5 cards. So that's like, that alone is like a pretty big change and not quite what I'm used to. And then, future looks a little bit, future looks like there's a little bit more, but I don't know. Can you kind of talk through what's in here, what we're working on, and sort of like what the mentality is, or just, walk us through this the way that the way that you want us to hear about it and know about it.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing, and I don't want to talk too much because everybody in the Discord just said Weirdbeard talks for 20 minutes and then doesn't give us any updates. But the bigger thing is like, we are not getting quality projects out when we're having a new thing to announce every single week. It just doesn't happen. We not only don't have enough time, creative doesn't have enough time, there's not enough planning. It's just, oh, we got to do something new to get people going. When really we should be focusing on fewer like updates with more packed into them, that's at a higher quality polish. Like, that's the mentality. That's why we're doing. It seems like even if it's fewer things, it means that land 1.5 is not going to be looked at as like, hey, what do we get out that's just an MVP so that we can fix it afterwards? When I have stuff going out the door, I want it to be good. It needs to be ready for the limelight. And it's the same thing with like Soulkeep. They could hand us the files tomorrow. That doesn't mean that it's getting released the next day, because we need to go over it. We need to make sure everything's in line. We need to do our planning. So when again, to reiterate, coming up in this age, the date on this is wrong. It's not through July 5th. So they shared the wrong one.
Brutal.
Yeah. But it goes through August. So this is not before July 5th. Please don't hold me accountable by this one. But yeah, so The land 1.5, everything that entails, replacing CP requirements with SPS staking, those tournament requirements overhaul so that players are able to hopefully get into more tournaments and be able to be competitive in them. The blocking bots from Modern. When we talk about the new mini set with a brand IP partner that is developing it, not necessarily launching and selling it, and then releasing Soul Keep. If we can get those things out, it's impactful. Land 1.5 not only sucks up a bunch of cards off the market and from people's collections, it also burns a ton of DEC. We've already burned almost 500 million. Land is going to take a lot more than that as well. And even though we have 5 billion in circulation, that's not 5 billion liquid DEC that's just sitting out there. The CP requirements with SPS staking is super important to make sure we take our time with so that new players get it and it's communicated to them. And we also don't have current players who see it and they freak out and they go, oh my God, I cannot believe that, all this stuff is happening. I'm not going to earn the same amount of rewards. We have to do better. Looking at the future, we have a lot of gameplay stuff, a draft mode is near and dear to my heart. I believe it's one of the biggest things that we can do to attract new TCG players. That's being worked on for guilds. You got all this GP, all this guild power. Now you need new buildings. Now you need guild updates and how the guild system works as a whole. I think skins, cosmetics, and Rooney combining are massive. The skins and cosmetics, especially to be able to get our creative team that's already done a lot of that work on it, to be able to be releasing them and putting them out at a regular clip, and also having it a way to purchase them and have them for a system that goes to your favorite cards, and you're not just getting a bunch of Gargoyle Lion skins. Rebellion's far off, but it's still on there. It's still on that roadmap. Land isn't going to just die after Land 1.5. We're planning out Land Phase 2, which is the buildings and resources and transportation and all the other stuff. And then also being able to, while we work on all this stuff, we're working in that tech modernization for the battle screen this age, which means that we're lining up for a Battles 2.0 and improve new player experience, because you don't want to make a whole new player experience that centers around a battle system that's going to be changing. So we have to take our time and understand when are we going to be able to deliver on updated battle, mechanics, and then we can tie new player experience, including tutorials, including battlegrounds, including better challenges, better onboarding, all that kind of stuff gets all wrapped up into one.
So, so my hope is that somewhere we're already 2 weeks in. It's amazing to think about that. Tomorrow is the end of Sprint 1. That was incredibly fast, right? Because we lost Wednesday and Thursday of the sprint because that was sprint planning, and then we lost Monday because it was a holiday weekend. So we lost 3 of our 10 working days. Yeah. So that was like the shortest sprint that ever sprinted. So then we're already into sprint 2 of 5. Mm-hmm. So somewhere for this one, it's probably going to be at like the end of sprint 3. I hope to go get like a roadmap update out and just see, are we pushing things back? Are we kicking things out? Are we adding new things in? Just what does it look like? So we have like another month before we'll kind of share an update to this. But yeah, I think that ultimately, you have the ranked battles in there, the land. And I keep seeing people being like, hey, don't shove out brand new cards. The goal is we get the ranked battles out there and ultimately getting SPS staking requirements in. And that to me is like the highest priority right now, because it's a shorter timeline. So then the second piece is that you get the land up and running, and land is going to go swipe all the cards off the market, and it takes all the DEC that is out there in the wild and soaks it into land. And after those two things happen, then I think we're ready for new cards, right? And even when we do, it's not going to be Rebellion. I don't think that the market has recovered enough for us to go put out some 15 million pack set or whatever that's going to be. So I really like this idea, the mini set. Kind of ride the mini set through the end of this year, get through the worst of the bear, and either at maybe December or the beginning of next year, get out Rebellion and kind of get that out for real and for live.
The other thing too that I want to say is that you have to, what I stress internally is that if we are thinking about doing a card set, right now we're not thinking about doing a card set. Like a card set is the farthest thing from my mind until land. SPS staking is out there. Some of the other like actual items that are things on a roadmap that are going to make it so that having a sale makes sense. But if and when we do sales in the future, anytime we do them, we cannot just put out a card sale by itself and let it stand on its own two legs. It has to go out with things that impact gameplay, meaning new game mode or a large update or a graphics overhaul or anything to go like side by side with it, right? The hype that gets generated by a card sale in and of itself is never as big as a card sale paired with something else that's also a large scale project. So I think that those kinds of things is looking at these future card infusions as not just like, hey, a one and done, bang it out real quick. It also needs to be paired up with these larger things so that we're because it's not that it's easy to get a card set out, but it's much harder for a good reason to get a card set out while also pairing it with one of those large scale things that make people get excited about a card sale.
And ultimately, like this game has sort of a breathing. You have to breathe in and breathe out. So the breathe in, I don't know which one of these it really is, but like in order for us to inflate new cards, you can't just have an infinite supply. Right. I had somebody message me a little while ago saying, hey, one of these other trading card games, it's Web3 is just dead. All they do is print cards and they never take them out of circulation, and their game economy just died. It can't handle the bear and everything over there is dead. And I'm like, all right, I'd really like for that not to happen to us.
Yeah.
So if we're going to inflate cards, and I don't mean like a promo card here and there, that makes less than like half a percent difference. If we like Zerial is a pretty small increase in the supply. So that's not what I'm talking about. But for like a card set or for like Rebellion or this mini set or anything else, in order for us to be in a position to inflate and actually add something, which we need, because you need brand new cards entering this ecosystem. You need a price point that is actually available to players. You don't just want it to all be like, here, buy your alpha gold foils. That's the starting price. Like that's also ridiculous. So we got to find this like middle ground. And the middle ground is something like we have to make sure that there's lots of reasons to stake SBS, and we have to increase utility for that. We have to take cards continuously out of circulation, and land is a big piece of that, so that ultimately you're using your existing cards to help mint future cards. And I think that's an appropriate solution there. And only under those conditions, or maybe if there's some like explosion of the number of people that are entering the space, those are the kind of conditions that let us actually inflate card supply. So I'm aware that other games and other projects have died just because of endless inflation, and that is not my intention. I do intend to inflate cards. We've shared every single year we want to put out another edition, but we're not going to do that in the face of like, here is a massive overhang of cards. The market's been decimated. By the way, here's the biggest edition we've ever released. We are smarter and better than that. So I hear the people, I hear you guys and your concerns of like, don't randomly inflate the crap out of these cards during crappy market conditions. I agree wholeheartedly. Anything else you kind of want to add to the roadmap or the thoughts here?
Not really, because again, well, okay, here's the one context piece I'll give quickly. Again, these are main big targets. There are lots of other things and other items being worked on, but those are our priorities that we cannot miss. That's why we're committing to them publicly and saying these things will be coming out, right? Again, I understand people get annoyed that I don't want to just splurge on dates all the time. When we say something publicly like that, it should be seen as a contract and a promise that we're like saying to our community, yo, guys, this is what we're going to get done. So, when we put something out like this on a roadmap, the goal and intention is that none of that should get bumped, right? We should be achieving all of those things. So we can either do a roadmap with 40 cool things in it and we deliver 5 of them, and then the other ones get moved back over and over and over again. Or we go, here's our 5 things that we know 100% we're going to get done. We're going to get everything else that we can hopefully in there. And then in the future, we'll continue to give smaller and more, direct analysis of what we're able to deliver.
Rock on. All right, that's what I wanted to talk about. I'm glad that we could get this out for this town hall. I'm glad you could kind of talk to this, and just be wary again. It says the Age of the Phoenix goes through July 5th. It doesn't. It actually goes through early August. So we're taking ourselves, or we have essentially 2 months remaining for us to go crank out the 5 boxes that you see in the Age of the Phoenix. I, along with Weirdbeard, I think we have high levels of confidence that we'll get these out, or at least we'll get them completed. We'll see if every single part of this. I'm mostly thinking the mini set is ready to be released at that point, but that's where our brain's at.
Yeah.
So thanks for coming back on, Weirdbeard, and kind of talking through this, and looking forward to getting these things done and making them look amazing. So now what I want to do, let's go hop over to the prearranged questions. Hopefully these are not too bad here. Yeah, it's just 2 pages, and it's really not even that full, so we can go dive through this thing. Okay. Would it be possible for Chibi Dinos and all future games to use DEC? Wouldn't products priced in DEC help stabilize the price to 1,000 DEC equals $1? Not just them. So that's our first deal, and I'm not sure that we nailed down every little piece, but certainly over time, I'm looking to make sure that SBS, DEC, and other things like that. I might not force people to do it, but I would do something like, if you accept them at this level or that level, then here's the discounts that can apply to the work that we do. So I see something like that happening. I don't know that it's going to be Chibi that kind of leads that, but I definitely like that plan and way of doing things. SBS staking. Will rating in the SBS formula be considered? I'm on 522 town hall questions. I took whatever. Oh, did you edit it? Well, I'm just reading through whatever you put the link maybe.
It's
at
a
the end?
6.5. There's
Okay. Well, I don't think that we answered. Well, it's weird because I think that we could actually answer those questions. I don't remember answering those last time. Right? Like okay, whatever. So we'll do the Great Bernie one. Sorry for that. What is the chance of getting the prize for each 10K points? Is it like infinite raffle tickets and you raffle the items at the end of it? You have to look at, you can total it up. I don't know if you can see every little burn that's already happened, but if you check the leaderboard, go through the ones that you can see, and you can get a sense of how big the number of tickets are versus how big the number of prizes are. And you can actually do some math to go figure that out. But it's dynamic. There's not one answer to that. The more people that are putting in the amount of DEC and burning DEC, the more potential like people are looking for those same prizes. Validator nodes. When will licenses be live? So we're looking at getting into private net for either. I actually haven't gotten an update on this. But so there's conversation around both GLX and SPS, trying to figure out which one of them should go first, and trying to get the private net live. So I'm hoping that happens in this age, and we'll once private net is live, once our guys are running it, once we have some confidence that it's working as intended, then the next step is, I believe, to open source it and get it out to the people. So I will channel my inner product owner, my inner Weirdbeard, and not give you a specific date for that. But I am hopeful that we get the first private net live during this age. Soulkeep. What is the ETA for tower defense opening? I'm really excited about that. Weirdbeard, we didn't set any date for tower defense, but is it this month, this age, this what?
This age, I would be afraid of giving too many dates without an official announcement. But before the end of July, easily.
All right. Well, you're so typically you have like stretch goals, and delayed goals. I think our delayed goal, if things are going badly, would be the end of July for that. But here's hoping that it can be sooner. But lots of things happen when you're in Web3. Land. In Land 2.0, each natural resource will require a harvesting, refining, storage building, right? Does that mean if I owned only 3 plots, they would all need to be the same natural resource type? Or could I buy 3 types of 3 different natural resources? The idea is that you're able to own and operate different plots. You don't have to own one of everything. And that you're going to rely on other people as part of this ecosystem to get the things that you need. Frankly, even if you own a region, you might not have everything that you need within the region to be entirely self-sufficient. That is a feature, not a bug. We are looking for the players to have to engage with one another while they're doing trading and activities and whatever else. So whether you buy 3 plots all in the same region, whether you own a full region, or whether you're trading in between, the goal is that the design is that you guys have to interact with each other to get everything you need. Maybe if you own 2 regions, you might actually get away with it. But I think there's only like 6 or 7 people that own more than one region. So almost all of the players are going to need one another and need their community, need their guild, need their everybody to get there. Approximately what percentage completed is a Land 2.0 white paper NEETA? So Matt's been working on this thing for a while. So I have some design meetings coming up with him. I'll try to get an increase in that and just know where we're at, but I don't have like a formal answer. We'll see. I think it's his design goal to get stuff out in this age, but I'm not positive about that. So we're gonna see how long that takes. You know, the problem with this is that like it's not a widget factory, right? Like if we're in like a bread factory and I can tell you like, oh, we can make 10 loaves of bread a day in 10 days, that means I can make you 50 loaves of bread. You can do that math really easily. But when you're talking about design, it's more like R&D. And it's hard to know exactly when you're done, like when you're starting, what pieces you need. So it's harder to sort of like perfectly estimate these things. So we'll see what that looks like. Tech modernization. What percentage completed do you think the tech modernization is at this point? I don't know. Weirdbeard or Investigator, do either of you feel like answering that one?
I mean, I can take a stab. It's an always ongoing thing. It's hard to say that it's ever going to be done because once you get to the end, you have to modernize the stuff that you modernize at the very beginning. But I would say that we have a lot of it done. We have some that's completed that we haven't even pushed out yet because it needs to go in conjunction with like the markets and collection screens. Battles is happening very soon in this age as well. I'd say maybe 50 to 60% of the largest stuff is sort of done. Hopefully, once battles is done, that's a big chunk. We should be 75 to 80, I think.
Yeah, most of what's left is the battles once we get the collection view out, though this is also just the UI tech modernization part. So if we're talking about modernizing the back end too, we haven't started on that per se, but it's also not necessarily a blocker for like doing the mobile work. Really, once the UI is modernized, that's the main thing we want to get done. And 50% is probably a fair estimate.
And then what if you? So I guess just one of the big things is that the battle piece is huge, and the battle piece is happening during this age. And I don't know that we'll get it done during this age. That's how big this freaking battle system is. But it's at least what we're working on this age. So we'll see how much of that gets cranked out. Guild updates. Will guild power points be retroactively applied? I.e., if I've burnt DEC in the past for guild buildings, will that be restored to my guild power at least at 90% that I can take with me? No, everything that's already been put in, you guys put in, knowing that it was devoted to the guild and that was how it was built. It's only this future stuff that's going to actually be there as switching to the guild power system. Suggestion feedback. Can we please have the option to block the contribution of guild power from regular guild members as soon as the update goes live? In some cases, officers prefer to take the burden of building upgrades, but keep things under control.
I don't think we can't do it as soon as it goes live. That's unfortunately, suggestions don't get implemented like that. Would we be able to look at it in the future? Sure. I don't see harm in trying to consider it, but will it be able to go out when the update goes live? Definitely not, unfortunately.
Would it not be logical to sell guild potions for guild power? It's all the same and would still burn DEC and Deck B. I don't think so. I gotta think through that. But my first answer is no. I mean, the guild power points are they're not fungible tokens the same way. And that's not really the intent. The intent isn't to like burn them, use them, get rid of them. So my first thought is no, but we'll see where that goes and see if the various design or product teams disagree with that. Could you kindly comply with your own date for stopping soul pack sales and these become alpha packs? Beta packs follow instantly afterward that provide the sale and hype for Splinterlands. This would be an elegant solution to the abrupt change of rules. We're talking with the team about that. I haven't actually heard back about what that might look like. So it's at least in discussion. The idea was that these things would sort of stop selling 6 months after the release of the game. That was our original intent. Obviously, we have fallen behind there. Market conditions have been absurd, and that's been a challenge. So we'll see what that looks like. I am investigating solutions, and I'll let you know what we come up with. According to Splinter Cards, there are currently 3,514 unique landowners, out of which 1,415 or 40% own a single plot, and 2,542, 72% that own 5 plots or less. Could the team consider making production of 2 worker options possible on a single plot, that you could assign 3 workers to produce grain and 2 to mine SPS on the same plot? Perhaps another power core and or some extra DEC staking would be required for this option. I don't know. That sounds like a pretty major change from the white paper, and would definitely need input from the product and the design teams. And I don't have a super strong feeling one way or the other, but I don't think that that's going to make it in the initial rollout. Anything that you want to add, Weirdbeard?
I mean, big decisions like that are always cool to talk about, but I don't think we hash them out on a town hall, unfortunately. So would love to be able to take this as a suggestion, but as far as actual movement on it, I would hesitate to say yay or nay either way.
Even in this prolonged bear market, Splinterlands is hosting more than 500,000 battles per day. That means the battle pop-up window is shown 500,000 times a day. Would it be favorable to use this pop-up to place advertisements and to split the made profits between the DAO and the Splinterlands company? Is this something the DAO has to decide about? Would the Splinterlands team favor such a proposal or even consider initiating such a proposal themselves? I've had conversations about this, and I am not entirely opposed to doing advertisements, but I am very wary of the fact that they can completely break the immersive experience. So I'm pretty torn on these things. It is a possibility, but I have not yet come across a solution that we're like, yes, this is what we want to do and this is what we want to implement. I don't know. Weirdbeard, any thoughts there?
I mean, there's a lot of negatives that are involved with this. Not to mention that just because an ad is shown 500,000 times anymore, it's not just about it being shown. It's about what the actual click-through rate is. It's about how much people are interacting with it. What ads are like would not most of the time we're not going to have control over every single ad that gets shown, right? So is it even stuff that we want shown? What kind of companies are wanting to be advertised in a game in our space? Like there's so many tangential things that go along with it. Would I be in favor of it? Probably not. And is it a thing that we would be open to? Maybe, but again, I don't think that's at all within the powers of the DAO. That would be a Splinterlands company decision, and one that I would say we should make very carefully.
Yeah. I mean, the front end is definitely owned by Splinterlands, and what we choose to display is up to us. The back end is what's designed to be sort of like for the people, for the everyone. So we'll have to see about that. All right, why don't we pop into some questions and see what the people are thinking about. So if Reality, you could go kind of pop that in. There we go. So if you guys have questions, go ahead. Let's see. Breaking. SEC sues Binance. How much runways does Splinterlands have when considering the extended bear? The crypto assets traded on the Binance.com platform and Binance.us platform include assets that were offered and sold as securities. Since the Binance platform launched, defendants have made available for them on them crypto assets that are offered and sold as investment contracts and thus securities. This includes, but is not limited to, BNB, BUSD, and the units of each of the crypto asset securities further described below with trading symbols Solana, ADA, Matic, Phil, Atom, Sand, Mana, Algo, AXS, and Cody, collectively the crypto asset securities. Yeah, I mean, we have a fair amount of runway. We can be here for an extended bear. At the same time, I've also seen that there's a bill that is meant to go classify all these things as commodities. So, who knows what that thing looks like? You got to let it play out, and these things can play out for years. So, we don't have an infinite amount of cash, although it's potential that we can raise cash. But there's certainly always things that are looking negative on the regulation front, and oftentimes things that are very exciting also on the regulation front or just in other parts of crypto. So we'll have to see what this whole thing looks like. Question: shouldn't Chibi Dino use GLUSD if any of the other tokens, since it's a sport game under the GLS umbrella, not DEC? I think that there's room for more than one of our tokens to be accepted there. So we'll see what that looks like. Question: is there a town hall next week? There isn't an event in Discord. So we're going to be moving to a 2-week format. I think this is the last one that we're doing in this current format. 1 week is going to be us doing the Splinterlands town hall. And I think the off week, if things go as planned, I'm going to try to host like a player open mic where you guys will have the chance to sort of like share with each other. We'll have to see how that goes, because if things get inappropriate or bad or, not fit for streaming TV or, a good corporate experience, we might need to change it. But those are the things that are on the brain. Peak Monsters team have been planning a chat system to be run on Peak D. Has there been any talks with them about using that system within Splinterlands websites, or are you planning on your own chat system? I actually haven't had any internal dialogue about that. They just came out with that really recently.
We have talked about this.
Well, I haven't, but what'd you guys say? There's a we, and you were part of a we, but I was not part of the we. So I just not trying to contradict, just trying to clarify that what I said was true. I haven't talked to anybody about it, but what's your thought?
So the wee that did be able to talk about this was it's cool. We're still in the infancy of figuring it out, but the real honest answer is that we need to be able to do, if we're going to do it, we should have our own, because there are moderation issues. There's other issues along with, like people scamming within it as a channel. So there's, to put on my best biz hat that I possibly can, there are all kinds of, options out there that make it a little bit tougher to integrate. But in-game chat is something that we do think is valuable to have in the ecosystem.
Yeah. Question: how's Hardpoint? Has anyone checked in on him? It feels like he's been locked in Playboy's basement for quite a while. Are we sure he's being fed and watered? Yeah, he's doing great. He's doing land development. So it's not just Farpatrod that's working on it, but it's also Hardpoint. Hardpoint is directly on the land team. And that whole land surfing thing, which isn't something that we're going to talk about now, actually he had a lot to do with that. So, constantly engaged, constantly working, constantly coding. Less forward facing. He's got things that he wanted more development in his life. That's where we've been supporting him, and I think that he's thriving in that role. Let's see. How is the Twitch partnership coming along? Are you planning on applying again soon? Ron, if you could directly respond to Meth. Oh, he already responded. Great. Any update on the company selling equity to shore up the balance sheet? I hope that I will have some news in the not too distant future. Cryptozard says open mic town hall will be amazing. A lot of questions get misunderstood. Doing it to be in message form. Feel as a community we can have better dialogue between the team and the community with the new open mic town hall. Yeah, it's something that I've been excited about for a while. Haven't really figured out how to get in, but when we want to switch, once we switch to the sprints every 2 weeks, there's not a lot of development that we want to talk about every week. So that actually opens up the possibility of getting just open mic for the players and the players to go. Oftentimes you guys are like, I'm going to tell the CEO what I want the DAO to do. And my answer is like, I'm not CEO of the DAO. You guys got to convince each other, not me. But I still think that we have a role to play in facilitating that conversation and helping get times up and conversations going, moderate it so that like you guys aren't horrible to each other while expressing different opinions. And so that's a kind of role that I think that we have. And I'm looking forward to facilitating you guys talking with each other about the things that you want this game to be. And we are not there to like drive that, force that, or whatever kind of negative crap that you might ascribe to us. We're just there to facilitate that and see where it goes. Let's see. Question: when will the next promo card be released? Any leaks on the type, rarity, cost? What were your thoughts on the Zerial sale? When will the next promo card be released? I actually don't know that we have the next plans for that. It's not like right on the net. I don't know. It'll probably be next age. I don't think that it's going to be in this current age. Any leaks on the type, rarity, or cost? Nope. And then what were your thoughts on the Zerial sale? Well, I was a little bit bummed that we crossed our wires a bit for the beginning of the burn and the end of the Zerial sale. So I think that Zerial got a little bit of a smushing right at the end, but I don't really care because the burn has been freaking phenomenal, and we saw nearly 500 million DEC, which is 10% of all existing DEC burned, and I feel like that's pretty damn good. You guys are always helping us. How can we help you? What do we need to do? I would just say, give us a little patience, right? I think I'm hopeful that the market is turning around, although maybe doom and gloom awaits us, and the bears are right and everything will be terrible. I tend to be a little bit more optimistic than that, so I see good things happening in the future for the market in general, and then specifically, I think putting in place the SPS staking requirements is phenomenal and great for the game. And then I think that the land will be great for the game. And after all these things are great for the game and great for the community, then I think that we can go do some sales and it'll be great for the company. So that's kind of how I vision this. Put the community first, make sure you guys are square, make sure the economy, the gameplay, and all the fun and all those pieces are right. And then we can introduce some more cards. So that's the plan. Let's see. Why don't we have SPS staking split for modern and wild? You only have one pool for those. That might be a better question for design, but I don't think that that's something that we're going to do. Question: there was an excellent idea a couple of weeks ago in the Tower Defense channel regarding Tower Defense packs and burn sale, burning all the remaining packs as announced, and thus respecting all the roadmaps and information given. This would benefit the early investors, blah, blah, blah. So we are actively having those conversations. I don't know what the result of them are. So I got to follow up and see. I am interested, but just because I'm interested and just because it's a neat idea, it doesn't mean that it's going to get done. Let's see. Anything else? We got a Dave McCoy. Did you, Aggie, participate in the burning event? Yes, I did. I'm on the top 10 spots there. What are your thoughts about how it's going as a promotion? I freaking love it. I mean, we have all these assets and we're committed to not selling the things that are like game related. I'm not here to go like dump assets on the community. That's bad for the company to do. All these things are meant to be promotional. And we thought, look, we want to get DEC out of the ecosystem. We want players to have fun. Getting a big burning is pretty exciting for everybody around here. Let's go get some of these items out. And I think it's gone pretty well. Are you looking for other ways to burn DEC cards vouchers? I have an idea for the Great Burning 2.0. The Great Burning has gone awesome so far. Well, we're not done with this one, so let's go see what it looks like before we do that. Yeah, so Azircon is definitely on it. My best workers are ready. Do you have enough workers, Aggie? Yeah, I mean, I'm one of the biggest card holders in the game. I don't necessarily actually think I have enough for all the land I have, but we got plenty of it. All right, and we made it to the end, so I think we're going to stop it there. You know, I want to thank everybody. You know, I know I sound like a broken record every week, but it is an honor to go serve this community. I know that there's been a lot of salt as the times have been hard. It is possible that, you know, the world ends and you know, finance comes crashing down and everything is destroyed and the universe is terrible. That is one outcome. I tend to be a little bit more of an apocalyptimist, where I think these things are cyclical, and you know, we've already had 2 years of pretty rough markets. My guess is that we're due for something better. That's not meant to be financial advice, but just, you know, that's my personal outlook as a CEO. You know, I'm not like hiring people just yet. I'm not, you know, going crazy just because I think that things will improve soon. You know, we take a more conservative approach, and if and when the market actually does change, then we'll look at, you know, hiring back some of the people that we lost. We'll look at, you know, all the different ways that we want to go boost this team and get products rolling out even faster than what we do. So lots of good things that are out there. There's certainly some things to be scared about in the world, but we'll see where it all goes. You know, this community and this ecosystem keeps it fresh, and you know, we'll see. And hopefully we have survived the worst of the bear, and better times are ahead. So just want to thank everybody for being here. Thanks to the team members. Thanks to the community members. And we look forward to seeing you guys in 2 weeks for the town hall. And then I guess if it goes according to plan, it'll be after that the first community open mics start going live. So we'll see what it looks like. But until then, thanks everybody, and we'll see you guys soon.
When chaos reigns and hope is lost, when your darkest days aren't saved by the dawn, we bring the light to help guide the way. We are with you. We are the Rift Watchers. When your enemies have spread far and wide, when you're out of places to